Good now, revolutionaries, and welcome to the Rise Up Morning Show. Hey, everybody. Today is Monday, September 15th, and I, at least, am broadcasting live from my Alma Mater. Can you believe it? I'm in the Student Center at Eastern Michigan University because we had a Wi-Fi snafu earlier today. And I said, where can I go to get some wireless internet near my house? And they say your degree will never let you down, and at least right now it's holding up pretty good. So
well, that's nice. Now you're just like the creepy old guy at the school.
Yeah, tell me about it. Trying not to attract too much attention, and it's not working out so well. So
hey there, fellow youths.
Do you know what it cost me to park here? Without like a college pass that I paid $20,000 a year for, it cost me like $10 to even get in the lot. It's so wild, dude.
Dude, I live in Boston. Like,
I'm sure.
I've never seen $10 parking before. That'd be a godsend. There'd be a line around the corner of cars trying to get into that.
That is wild, man. How are you guys today?
I mean, now upset at the current parking fares of Boston again. So, but luckily I haven't had a car for 8 years because, again, I live in Boston. We have the #1 public transportation system in America. Woo!
Yeah. This is a gross misrepresentation of the facts.
Yeah, but I'm good. Had a very fun and productive weekend. Friday, one of my buddies got hired at Paxos, so we hit the town and just got hammered. And had a great time, bounced around a bunch of spots. And then Saturday was Solana Boston. ETH Boston was Friday as well, but I couldn't attend. Wow. I had too much stuff to do. And I've never been to ETH Boston because that one's always on Friday and I always have things going on. So I don't know anything about ETH Boston, but Solana Boston is actually a really good time. It's actually like a really kind of productive networking, like close-knit, very personal kind of event. And each year it gets better and better. And then Sunday I did nothing. I watched some football, which is a rarity for me because I almost never watch football. And watched my Broncos lose and did some chores around the house. Had a good time. Yeah, it was a good day.
Broncos fan?
Yeah, I'm a Broncos fan. Yeah. I was born in Denver.
So is it just Denver for Broncos football?
It's just the Broncos. Otherwise, everything else is Boston for me. And I don't really care too much about hockey, but I root for the Bruins.
Oh, of course, yeah. Interesting.
Well, and the cat's out of the bag. Today, Will and I are joined not by our friend Mr. Alex Popovich, but by our friend Doug, aka Von. And I got to know, Doug, how you doing? I don't even remember where Von came from anymore.
I think it died, and let's just let it die. Let's just let it be what it is.
Von will never die.
You hate Von. Okay, I'll let it die.
Well, it's not that I hate Von. It's just like, I have so many nicknames. Actually, I don't care. I'll embrace it. I'll embrace whatever you want to call me.
More nicknames.
Yeah, but no, I'm good. This was the first weekend I did nothing, so it was like kind of fantastic after the last like 6 doing stuff. So just back at the desk here, trying to get a gauge on what's happening next in the markets.
Yep. Ooh, and I did do something else that's crypto related. I went in and started exploring Abstract, the layer 2 on Ethereum built by the Pudgy Penguins, because everyone's probably sick of me talking about Pudgy Penguins now at this point. But we're interviewing Luca, the CEO of Pudgy Penguins, at the end of October. So I'm just like exploring all the stuff that they have and getting a feel for it. And I went over on Abstract, and if you look it up on DeFi Llama, there's not really a thriving DeFi ecosystem over there yet. It's kind of weak, but there's a decent amount of transactions there. It could be better, but I went over to go check it out because Luca's always talking about like, hey, Abstract, it's kind of like the base model right now, and it's going to get way, way, way better. But the base model is still like a very smooth experience. So I was like, well, let's see how smooth this experience is. And it is. It's very smooth. It's, it really takes a lot of the like crypto Web3 stuff and puts it in the background, even if you're like doing on-chain things. There were some games. Some were really bad. One was decent. 2 were actually really fun, and I had a good time with. So yeah, and I hit FinUp to see if I can experiment with streaming. So that's what I did. And then I streamed it on X. So nice. It's nice. I keep meaning to try to get into some more like Web3 games and kind of exploring and checking out those ecosystems. So I'm going to keep trying to do that. Next step for me is to explore Might and Magic Fates, the new card game on Immutable X that was made by Ubisoft, the AAA gaming studio. So I'm going to go check that out next.
Yeah.
So I don't know if my algo changed, Will, but like since you started mentioning Pudgy Penguins and video games in general, like I've started to see a lot more gaming type content overall, where previously I'd almost assumed that industry wasn't dead in Web3, but just wasn't apparent to me that it's something I should maybe pay attention to. But hey, I'm starting to see things pop up, which is great because it's critical overall.
Yeah, I mean, it's growing. So we'll see with the success of Pudgy Party. I think you'll see more attention directed towards it because you'll finally have the gaming industry be like, huh, people actually play that game?
Yep.
Maybe we should explore this, right? So, you know, I still think it's going to take 1 to 2 years for Web3 gaming to like really kind of find a footing, if you will.
Yeah, definitely. And certainly before it starts to become easier for folks to grasp, like they need models like this before they understand, oh, like this is a skin I can sell anywhere. This is a trade I can take with me, whatever. I think that's going to take some helpful examples that they can point to. Now, if you've got a crypto question, if you've got a suggestion, if you've got a good joke, if you got a word of wisdom, then let us know. We'd love to hear from you. I do have a couple of things here, but we had the question, how are we feeling about Sol? And we've talked a lot about it. I am most excited because when Alex gets back, I did find our predictions from a couple of weeks ago that we made about where it would be, but it's been cooking. And I haven't looked yet this morning, but I was looking last night before I went to bed. And I'm curious to know, considering this is our week of rate cut announcements, are you guys thinking this is still going to continue to be a big week up for Sol and everything else? Or without giving too much away, because I know you got Market Watch tonight, are you feeling like the gas is out of the tank? People are in wait and see mode? And what about you?
The gas is definitely starting to leave the tank a little bit right now in the market, like preemptively, particularly in Ethereum.
Yeah.
And you're also starting to see, like, technical analysis wise, I have a breakout target of XRP for $3.60, but it's starting to look more and more likely that that's gonna miss. And like right now I have a high target of like $3.40 for XRP, but it's starting to get short signals. It's starting to break some support. And so we see the gas pedal really starting to lift up on Ethereum, and we see the gas pedal still down for XRP, but starting to lift up too. Solana, however, still looks really, really, really good. And you see coins within the Solana ecosystem holding support levels better right now. So we are starting to see a little bit of weakness kind of start to show in crypto markets already, but we'll see what happens because trading hasn't started in the traditional financial markets yet today. So we had some dips over the weekend, typically results in some pumps in the beginning of the week. But if the beginning of the week pumps, typically the end of the week dumps. Just kind of how that works typically, because you have a pump and then there's the cool off period. That's natural. But then we also have rate cut decisions on Wednesday. We have the triple witching day on Friday.
I saw you tweet about that. What does that even mean? How to get that name?
So it's something that happens once every quarter. It is when you have 3 different derivatives markets all close at the exact same time. So stock options, stock index options, and stock index futures all close. So what that means is it forces a lot of people in the market to make decisions on this day. So trading volume can 2x or even 3x on that day. And volatility typically increases 30 to 50% on those days. Almost always near the end of the trading day, which will be this Friday. So expect like volume and volatility to be kind of fucking crazy on Friday between 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time to 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And if you're trading with volatility on Friday, you're like 99% getting fucking liquidated because you're going to have huge swings up and huge swings down and huge swings up and huge swings down all throughout that afternoon. And if the market starts selling in a buy the rumor, sell the news fashion on Wednesday, you're going to have a little bit more panic in the market heading into the triple witching day. So, probably a good time to be sitting in more stable coins at that time and seeing how things shake out, because it's probably going to be like gas on the fire of an already red market if buy the rumor, sell the news is true with rate cuts, which usually it is. We'll see.
We'll see. I had to share this quick screen share of a tweet that is going viral right now that you talk about markets going wild. You've got the people in podcast land. It's the meme with the car about to hit a fork in the road, exiting the highway. And on the left, going straight, is take profit. And on the right is take a screenshot instead. And the caption is average crypto guy. And he is pulling hard towards take a screenshot. So if the volatility has got you and you're feeling like you ought to take profit, before you reach for your phone, before you take that screenshot, you maybe better do it.
Yep. That makes me think of the Casey Craig rule, which is if you ever have the feeling of taking a screenshot of your portfolio, sell all of it.
Could be a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doug, what about you? How are you thinking and feeling? You have anything to add to what Will said? Do you disagree?
We're on the same page as usual. The one thing I would say, even I have the same kind of outlook for just September being a very hectic, volatile month, and also to an uncertain month. And it's been great the first 2 weeks here. And considering everything Will just mentioned, I think it's a great time to kind of sit in your hands and do nothing the rest of the month, especially thinking about entering new positions, because I think we'll have more clarity going into October, November, once we get through the next couple weeks. So, and if you are, hey, looking at your portfolio, I'm like, I'm doing great. Things are good. To your point, can't hurt to take some profits. And right now, the time is to, I say, flip into like a preservation of capital mode, where you don't want to get chopped up. We're probably gonna see a lot of chop back and forth, and that's where you see markets kind of go up and down constantly, trying to really mess with your emotions. Just to get through that period, the best way to do it is to not aggressively try to get new positions. So especially with the FOMC coming up on Wednesday, I know everyone loves to say, hey, I want to position myself prior or even after. If you absolutely have to get in a position, wait till after, at least 12 hours after, 24 hours after to consider it. But from my point of view, at this point, all things considered, just hang out and watch. There's always an entry, and there will be an entry in October.
The other thing too is 50% of the time, and I know it seems like, oh, he's going to say it goes up or down. Remember, the markets can go sideways too. So this is actually a little bit more in the direction of more likely to happen than not. Remember, there's always 3 things markets can do. So if one of those things is at 50% historically, that is statistically significant. But 11 out of the past 22 times where you've had, pause in rate cuts, or rate cuts announced, or it was rate hikes switched to rate cuts, right? Whatever. When rate cuts started happening again, the month right afterwards was a down month. However, 20 out of the past 20 times that rate cuts have been announced while the S&P 500 was at or near all-time highs, 12 months later, the market was higher than it was before, at an average return of 13.9%. So that dip in that month or 2 or maybe even 3 months after rate cuts, right? Just depends on what was else happening in the macro environment. Typically a good time to buy. So keep all of that in mind. As to another reason as to why maybe the rest of September and into October is a little red. It's the perfect time to buy.
Solom says, I know that the chart will move to the right. And Joe reminds us that tapping or liking, or if you leave a comment or something like that, legend has it, it will induce green candles. So thank you, Joe, for supporting the show. Thank you, everybody, for supporting the show. I have just a couple of headlines because we've actually had a really busy couple of days in the crypto space. Obviously, rate cuts are the biggest piece of news, but I'd love to get your take on some of the stuff that's happened lately that I think folks might have missed if they were paying attention only to rate cuts or price action. So permit me to give you a little
rapid fire crypto news
headline or two.
It's nice to hear Alex's voice.
I know. Alex, wherever you are, we hope your candles are green. Okay. Gemini, if you missed it, went public on the NASDAQ yesterday, and shares popped about 32% above its IPO price. So the Winklevi had a valuation of around $4.4 billion during the busiest US IPO week since 2021. And in the fun, there were some other headlines too. Related to stocks, the London Stock Exchange launched a blockchain-powered platform for private funds built with Microsoft. We do expect probably to see more of that. I saw the SEC, and one of our friends in the comments was talking about easing some stock requirements in Q3 of 2026. And indeed, SEC Chair Paul Atkins promised crypto companies it would be a little easier on them, that if they were to be targeted by any enforcement actions, they would receive an early notice, which is a break from the agency's previous position where they would kind of say, surprise, it's a lawsuit under Gary Gensler.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah. Athena launched its synthetic dollar and staked version on Avalanche. So that's part of its $13 billion push to expand across a number of chains. And Hype, USDH, their stablecoin token, the stablecoin token for Hyperliquid, has chosen to move forward with partner Native. They are an untested stablecoin issuer. And the thinking goes that rather than rely on somebody who's got another horse in another race on another chain, Hyperliquid wants to back a company that is aligned with them and the success of their network. It's an interesting gamble, but we'll see how it goes. It was a very hotly contested thing. And this is for our folks listening who are in 101 land. If you're new to the crypto space, you will hear people make announcements about partnerships all the time, but we're looking for proof in the pudding. We're looking for where's the money moving. If the partnership has substance behind it, like in the case of Hyperliquid, $6 billion in stablecoin volume, it's probably worth paying attention to. And it certainly could be a kingmaker sort of proposal. Elsewhere on the internet, Polymarket integrated Chainlink's data feeds and soon will be available to consumers in the US. So that'll help them cut manipulation, cut delays, and then figure out how to handle better bets that aren't just purely data driven. And they and Kalshi, the other prediction market, are both in talks to raise new funding at higher valuations as they look to expand their foothold in the prediction market space. And finally, Tether is set to launch USAT. It's US-focused venture with Bo Hines as CEO. He most recently served as executive director of the White House Crypto Council and has been tapped to be the CEO of this new company dedicated to launching the USAT stablecoin. So thank you to our friends at Unchained, at Dune, and also Cointelegraph for providing some of the summary for these headlines. Will, Doug, a lot of stablecoin news. Anything interesting that you're hearing there? What do you think about Tether making a specific company to enter the U.S. market rather than try to make its existing global operation U.S. compliant? I hear a lot of FUD about that. People say, oh, Tether's really not going to be that competitive in the U.S., or it's going to have to change if it wants to be. And it seems like their solution is like, why fix what isn't broken? And since we've got more money than God, why don't we just build a new thing and compete that way? Smart solution?
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it because I just saw USAT and I was just, why? It's just the question. I go, why? Like there's Tether, there's USDT. So is it just marketing? Like, is it just marketing to be like USA?
Oh,
America, USA, USA, US. You know, like, is it just marketing? Because like, otherwise, why? And then it also begs the question of, if it's not just marketing, then there's a real reason as to why USDT Tether is not up to snuff with US regulators to actually be used and to get access to US markets, which does apply some credence to the fears people have had about Tether for 8 years or so now. So it's like, I hope it's just marketing. I hope it's just marketing, because if not, it's a little, you know, there's a little smoke coming, you know, from, you know, further down on the horizon. And usually where there's smoke, there's a little bit of fire at least, but I think it's just a little bit of smoke. So no, it makes me a little bearish about USDT, but I'm not bearish enough because, you know, we've been getting FUD on Tether for 8-7 years now or so, and it's all been fine. But it does make you wonder, like, why, if it's fine, then why isn't it good enough for US regulators?
So I believe that the reason that they're not doing it is because of the bank charter and like some of the other stuff behind USDT that Tether has. Like, it would be difficult for them to just like port it all over. And it's favorable to their business. USAT, the CEO of Tether, Paolo Arduino, said it would be issued by Anchorage Digital. It has a national trust charter with the US Office of the Comptroller. So like fast track there. And they also want to headquarter it in the United States, in Charlotte, North Carolina. Cantor Fitzgerald will serve as their custodian and preferred primary dealer. And I think the real big reason they want to do it maybe this way also is, Circle went public, Gemini went public. I feel like they may be taking just a fresh start because, Tether's had a lot of scrutiny in the US. I feel like this will be their fresh start. We could take it public. We could eat Circle's lunch. We could eat whoever's lunch. I don't know. It really remains to be seen how it'll change, but Tether has kind of a, I think the FUD is understandable, but it's left kind of a spotty, reputation for him.
They also hold like a stupid amount of US treasuries at the same time, even today, where it's like
stupid amount.
So, I mean, at the same time, like I'm more in the camp of Willis too. It's like, it seems it's marketing. I'm sure there's reasons outside of it behind there, but I'm like, meh, like whatever.
Yeah, that and also, well, another thing too is US financial companies won't want to work with you if you're not headquartered in the United States and you don't have a team in the United States, if you don't have people in the United States, and they go, all right, cool, I'm not going to work with you. Because it's just harder, and there's also some regulatory reasons around that too. So there are some like legitimate, there's some real legitimate reasons. And then also I was like, wait, Charlotte's a weird choice. But then I was like, oh wait, isn't Bank of America headquartered in Charlotte, North Carolina? Pretty sure they are. Fairly certain Bank of America is.
We can check.
Charlotte Airport has rocking chairs. My favorite things about that airport.
Dude, I absolutely
one of the best things about flying into the South. Yeah, it is Charlotte, North Carolina. I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Charlotte. One of the best things about all the airports in the South, rocking chairs everywhere. Right. I'm just like, this feels right here. Now I need to go to this McDonald's to get me some sweet tea.
DTW, can we get on that?
Underrated rocking chairs.
Absolutely.
Rocking chairs are great.
Absolutely underrated rocking chairs. So that's the stablecoin news. There's a ton of stablecoin news. Everybody wants access to liquid on-chain dollars, it seems like, and everybody wants a piece of that pie. The other headline that I didn't read us into, but which somebody touched on, a question about privacy in the chat. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Monero, recently we covered on the show that the Monero network was attacked by Cubic. Super new, fast, cheap blockchain that's trying to test its ability to, validate other stuff in other places. And there was what they call a reorganization. When you are a blockchain, you're just a network of computers that process transactions that, the members of the network submit. We all share this record of truth, this record of transactions. And any blockchain is only as good as the confidence in that record. Like, if you can trust it to be true, then you feel good using that blockchain, generally speaking. And this is not the first time Cubic has attacked Monero, but they recently attacked Monero in such a way that it caused about a 43-minute outage and required all the different validator computers to have to talk to each other and say, wait a second, what should we make the true order of this be? The Cubic people tried to force through certain types of transactions, and Monero didn't want it. And it was kind of like a weird thumb war, where Cubic is winning for about 43 minutes, and then Monero throws their thumb on top and erases the past that just happened. I just think it's a really interesting thing because people are concerned about how we're going to be able to trust decentralized networks. But this is a really good feather in their cap, because not even a single Monero transaction, according to their founder, was invalidated, meaning they were able to sort out what they felt was true from what was crap, and then preserve this record despite the attack. Just an interesting follow-up from something that I saw there on Twitter.
That all feels like some government psyop against privacy coins.
I mean,
I'm putting on a tinfoil hat for sure right here, but it just feels like the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, or like the FBI, CIA is just like, we're gonna take down these privacy coins. God damn it,
dude. I don't know. My conspiracy hat is fragile right now. I'll have to tell you off the air sometime, but I love a good conspiracy theory, and I'm not here to judge anybody for what they do or don't believe or why. But I have learned recently that some people very close to me are into some conspiracies that I would consider very difficult to verify, if impossible, and just harmful, like not serving anyone, making everybody stress and worry more. And it's got me concerned, man.
Yeah,
We
I
live
mean
in an
that's what
interesting time.
conspiracy theories do.
I mean, the majority of crypto Twitter is a conspiracy theory, I think, at this point. It's everything. Maybe not crypto Twitter, but in general, just like there's noise everywhere. Everywhere you look, there's noise.
Yeah.
Then every now and again, one's right, and you're like, then you forget about the 1,000 others before that were wrong, and you're like, oh my god.
Yeah. Well, also, did you guys see? I saw last week that MORPHO has surpassed $12 billion in deposits.
I did not see that. I'm just looking at the MORPHO chart, being like, climb, you son of a bitch.
Dude,
That's awesome.
They've had a stellar year. They've grown
Yeah.
deposits over 3,000% on Arbitrum in the last 30 days because of a drip campaign. I think they're about to explode on Linnea because Linnea just had like a $200 million airdrop. Their volume on Aave has gone up it's gone up like a 2x to almost 2 billion. I mean, they're killing it.
Yeah, well, so I remember I did an update video on MORPHO at some point this year, but like, hey, here's everything they've done this year, and it's nuts from an adoption standpoint. Basically, anybody in the DeFi space is working or using MORPHO's technology on the back end. Think of one, MORPHO, it's there. And if it isn't, it's about to be tomorrow. The other thing that's crazy is MORPHO and Syrup, Maple Finance. They're the only two that I know of. There might be a couple others because it's hard to keep track of everything in the space, but they're the only two lending protocols that are gearing themselves up for institutional adoption. Specifically MORPHO, way further ahead at the gate here, but they've added several security compliance regulations to their network that is only useful if they're ever to be adopted in any way, shape, or form by traditional finance. And also at the Solana Solana Boston event I was at on Saturday, Fidelity was there because Fidelity is, and I'm trying to get their VP of blockchain engineering on the show, but Fidelity was there because Fidelity is based in Boston, and they were like, hey, decentralized finance. They're like, hey, is DeFi on your radar screen was a question. He was like, oh yeah, like, I'm not exactly sure how it's going to look, but will be in DeFi. And it's just like, yeah, like the traditional financial companies are coming into DeFi. So it's like, who's going to help them do that? I think it's the one getting the regulatory like security check marks. I think it's going to be MORPHO.
Yeah, big time.
And you see also Marinade on the Solana side from a staking standpoint doing the exact same thing. And guess who their chief commercial officer is? Hadley Stern, the guy who created the first ever Bitcoin fund for, no, it wasn't Morgan Stanley. It was
Stern.
No, JP Morgan? No, it wasn't JP Morgan.
Oh
Chase? No, it was one of the big guys. Hadley, if you're watching. I'm sorry.
It's because Hadley Stern, I'm thinking, but no, it's
yeah, was it Fidelity? I think it might have been Fidelity.
This is a good sign that we have too many friends because we can't keep up all with too many illustrious resumes that we can't keep track of all the wonderful things all our friends have done. I really miss Hadley and would like it if we could get you back on the show. Hadley, wherever you are, whenever you listen, we want to hear from you again. And Will, I'm just realizing that we didn't get, it was Fidelity, you're right.
Yeah.
Correct. I didn't get the summary from you on the air. I got it in the group chat, but I think people would like to know, what was your take on the conference? And for people who are curious, listen, Alex would be impressed at your efficiency.
Hey, man.
That you hit that conference floor the night after some hard fun. You made the most of it, it sounds like, in a couple hours, got in, got out, got a bunch of contacts, made a bunch of favorable impressions, and did not have to stand in the same meeting for 2 hours or stay there for 10 days or anything.
Yeah, first of all, I was very unwell that day from the night's festivities before. And I also hate conferences of any type. It can be, I don't care if it's about crypto. I'm there. You got 2 hours out of me. 2.5 hours in the morning time while I'm caffeinated, and I can get a lot of work done in that time. After that, someone will be like, hey, I'm insert name, and I'll just turn to you and be like, I hate you. Like, I hate you and myself. I don't want to be here anymore. And I just can't. It just, like, my soul just dies. I just can't do it. I have to leave. I have to take a power nap and show up for the events at the end of the night. But yeah, so I go to Solana Boston. Always, like, you know, if you live anywhere near a metropolitan area, you'll have some crypto events, and some cities don't at all. Some cities aren't that great. Some cities are amazing. You get your New Yorks, your Torontos, you know, your LAs, your major areas. I live in Boston. Boston's crypto scene for years has always just been kind of at best. So last year was the first time that there was a Solana Boston event, I believe, and it was actually done well. And we had some cool, interesting people there, like Hadley Stern, who I met, who's now the chief commercial officer at Marinade. Yeah. And yeah. And then this year, it was just like a little bit bigger, about the same size, like very personal. You could go up and like, you could ask your questions and talk to everybody, and everyone was really nice and chit chatty. And went in, met the people I wanted to meet, exchanged contact information, got out. It was great. That, and also Solana Boston, their branding is branded with Dunkin' Donuts, and it's just really, it's awesome. It's great. And then they have donuts there and Dunkin' Donuts coffee. And I was like, this is the best. I love this. And they created a DAO, another Boston DAO. It's called the Lobster DAO. And I'm thrilled. I'm absolutely thrilled. Being someone from Maine, it really tickles my heart. But
I'm a big fan of this.
Yeah, it was a really cool event. So definitely go, because you got to build your network in the space. Oh, and I met Icy in person.
Hey,
Icy was there. For those of you guys who don't know, Icy is one of the more influential names in the Web3 gaming space. You can find him on Twitter, Icy. It's like with 2 Ys or 3 Ys.
Too many.
And yeah, and met him. And then it's fun because he's so well respected in the space. I was chatting with him. We're like, oh, yeah, what's up, dude? And I was like, hey, Alex wants you to know he loves you. And he died. And he was like, hey, you, come talk to Will. And then someone like, oh, okay, came over and was like, yeah, this is Rise Up Media. They're great. Talk to them, exchange information. Going to get a few people on the show. And then I'm chatting with Icy. And then Icy's like, hey, Jerry, come talk to Will. And then Jerry comes over. He's a business development guy over at Solana. And so, you know, you start meeting some people, making some friends. And if they have any kind of pull or any kind of respect in the space, they just look at people, scream their name and say, come talk to this guy. It was great. And he's going to get me more connected into the crypto space in Boston. So it'll be fun to meet more crypto people. Because like the Boston crypto scene is really starting to, this past year, it's really started to like expand pretty quickly. It's gotten a growth spurt, definitely because of Circle's IPO. Absolutely because of Circle's IPO. Because Circle is based in Boston, Fidelity is based in Boston, and Fidelity are absolute trailblazers in the TradFi space to crypto. So it's nice to see.
And we had a really good question come in asking from Wisconsin, or generally, I see Squid added to the question, how do you find events in your city? Squid, Heidi, great questions. Thanks for writing. If you are curious, I recommend the Luma app, LU.MA. It's a lot like Eventbrite or Facebook events, except it's organized by city. And they tend to have a lot of events, especially oriented around fintech, startups, cryptocurrency, AI, and many of them are free. You just register, get a little ticket on your phone, you show up with a QR code. And I would say the best place to look would probably be Twitter, X, the website formerly known as Twitter. And I would simply search Wisconsin Crypto Conference. I would spend some time, jump into the Rise Up Morning Show community. Rise Up Media curates a whole free community that you can find at our website, rumshq.com. It's a great place to connect with other people, safer, easier than Discord. And you can ask that question there. We can start a whole thread for conferences around the world. That would be a great way to do it. I also recommend subscribing to a newsletter like Cointelegraph. They have a couple newsletters and they will cover all the major conferences. It may be that you have a local meetup, but it might be more fruitful for you to find the next biggest city near you or a big crypto conference and save your pennies and travel. You know, you can get a lot of bang for your buck without even buying a ticket to the conference. If it's a big conference like Permissionless or Consensus, there are always huge side events. Most of them are free. And that's where the industry goes to connect. Or, you know, if you're near Boston, if you're near DC, there's one coming up at the end of this month. Alex is going to be there. Let us know where you live and we can talk about it in the community. That'll be a great place to connect around it. Maybe we can get a calendar going.
Well, a few other bits of advice I'd give. So I found out about Solana Boston and ETH Boston, not because I'm plugged into the scene. I make this stuff. I make my content. I do not listen to anybody else about crypto news. I don't follow any crypto influencers. My timeline across all forms of social media is scrubbed clean of crypto for the most part, except for Twitter and X. So I'm not really plugged into like what's going on. That's why I have Evan and Alex. But what I did is I just went into Google and I typed in Boston crypto communities. And, you know, I found like the MIT club, I found the Harvard's club, and then I started looking a little bit more and there ended up being a Boston DAO standing for Decentralized Autonomous Organization. So you spell that by spelling DAO. So type in DAO, the city that you're in or the city that you're around, and you'll find some organizations. They'll include you in like a Telegram chat, and then you'll get updates for events and things going around. So definitely do that as well. And I also brought my buddy to Solana Boston. He got hired as a solution consultant and senior engineer at Paxos. They do things like stablecoin issuance and tokenized gold, and they're based in Boston. And he was the guy who I was going out with the night before to celebrate. And I was like, hey man, you want to go to this conference? And he was like, yeah, sure. I want to start learning the lingo. So because he comes from the cybersecurity space, so he doesn't really know the blockchain space. And one amazing thing he was able to do is I walked away. I was chatting with some people. I left, and Dave's an outgoing guy, and he was chatting with the guy that I was speaking with before, who's the VP of blockchain engineering at Fidelity.
Yeah.
So he got to meet him. Phenomenal networking opportunity, particularly for a Boston-based engineer. But also, he was like, "Hey, man, I'm coming from cybersecurity. What should I start with being at Paxos?" And John was like, the guy's name is John. I said, like, "Hey, man, here's a list of things that you should start with in order to like, strengthen your chops, if you will, in this space, and be more prepared to like really kind of kick ass at Paxos." And so, very veteran expertise, really kind of set him down a very tailored path, and he got exactly what he needed out of the conference. So go meet some people, let them know like, hey, I'm looking for help on understanding XYZ, and they'll totally help you. Unless they're a dick. There are some people are just dicks, but most people are nice.
Most people are nice. I agree. Okay, Will, I know you've got to go in a second. So I have two things I want to get your take on. The first one is this stablecoin collapse, U token. Shout out to ACC for bringing it to our attention. And then heads up, Will and Doug, I want to get both your takes on pump.fun's token action. And then maybe after Will goes, Doug, you can read the audience into some of the stuff you shared with me the other day. I called Doug and I asked him, hey man, from the trenches, is pump.fun streaming really worth it? And reports are mixed. So first, quick PSA, Bitcoin-backed stablecoin U, $YU, a token launched by a company called Yalla, went from $119 million market cap pre-attack to suffering a bridge exploit where somebody minted millions of their tokens on the Polygon network. It's a cross-chain token. They swapped it over, bridged it over to Ethereum and Solana. They cashed out 7.71 million of these Bitcoin-backed stable tokens for about the same amount of USDC, swapped it for ETH, and it was gone. They spread it across a bunch of different wallets. Classic laundering play. And the token lost its peg. It went from $1 to about 11 cents in just a couple of minutes. And shallow liquidity didn't help. There was only like $100,000 in a couple of different pools. And this token is basically dead now. Bitcoin-backed stablecoins are a really interesting novel idea. But as is often the case, a single little point of failure can bring the whole protocol down. This was a bridge exploit. They're the most common exploits in crypto. It's an important story for DeFi. And now another, what do you call an opposite of a feather in the cap? Another gwump in the bag for cross-chain bridged stablecoins.
Another gwump in the pants.
Another gwump in the pants. So it's trading back at 90 cents now, but the bridges are still offline. There's no recovery plan announced, though Yalla has made a statement about it. It's a rough time. I hope if you're a holder that you got out, that you didn't lose too much money, and stay alert.
I'm going to back a stable coin with a volatile asset.
I actually think Bitcoin-backed stablecoins show some potential promise. This is an over-collateralized token, and it's different than an algorithmic token, but it was a bridge. It was a piece of code in the bridge exploit. Somebody manipulated not the currency so much as the code. These are the most common exploits in crypto, and they're tough. Okay, let's talk about pump.fun. Before you go, Will, have you seen the pump.fun price action?
I did a few days ago, and it's like a crazy, stupid looking chart. I mean, like to the upside, but I'd rather have Doug pull it up because Doug's a faster charter than I am.
And I will do a little screen share for the people in podcast land. You'll have to go to YouTube to get it. Check out the Rise Up Morning Show playlist. Unless, Doug, you've got a screen share on hand, and then I'll gladly defer to you.
I got it. If you want to switch over, it's up to you.
Switch it. He is the fastest finger in the West.
So the couple crazy stats too with Pump is that I think yesterday they hit $3 million in revenue, daily revenue, which was greater than Axiom. Axiom, I think it's out there, and Axiom is the exchange or trading platform. And I think it's also above Hype, and that's just for some perspective. So the thing with Pump, so it just is, everyone know if you know, the live streaming meta has become a very, very big thing. And that's what's accelerating this price action here. And honestly, this was probably one of the the easiest entry back in mid-September here was like this. It's a pretty like ridiculous chart, if I'm being honest. I mean,
at about 50% of where we are now. That's 45 cents.
It's a double bottom. It's like it's textbook. I mean, it's super easy because they had a lot of FUD early on based on not having an airdrop and whatever other FUD that comes from Pump. But right now, the big piece is that there's a lot of people go to Pump because of the creator rewards and them actively going after trying to attract streamers from Twitch, from Kick, from whatever platforms, and saying that, hey, you can make tens of thousands of dollars over here just by streaming on our platform. Now that comes with an asterisk, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But this is bullish. I mean, I can't say it's not. And I think any pullbacks that are in your 7 cents, 6 cents, if markets continue to be bullish through the end of the year to next, it's a good opportunity. But
it looks like a short-term top, though.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that.
That's totally a short-term top.
Yeah, you're coming back here is probably the area where you almost forming the bigger.
I was just about to say to 0.006.
Yep.
It looks like where it would fall and find support.
Correct. I agree with
so
that.
if you have made a bunch of money on pump.fun, I saw somebody that said, hey, I'm up like 2.5x and I'm thinking about taking my initials out.
Do that.
Yeah.
Do that.
Yeah, it's going to be a good idea.
Don't take a screenshot. Take profits.
Don't take a screenshot. Take profits.
Okay, Will, I know you got to ride a dog and pony out of here in a second. So do you have a final thought for the folks before you leave?
A singular dog and pony.
One.
No, I mean, like we'll do a bunch of charting tonight during Market Watch at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Also, like what I'm doing with my money is I have like my MORPHO positions looking a little sad. The MORPHO chart's looking a little sad. This Maple Finance and Syrups chart's looking a little sad. Everything in the Ethereum ecosystem is looking a little sad right now. Everything in Solana looking a little better. So we'll see how today goes because I'm expecting Bitcoin to sell a little bit early on, and it is selling a little bit early on right now. And then I am still thinking there's play for it to try to move up to close to 120K between now and when rate cuts are announced on Wednesday at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So like I'm looking to sell like a lot of these altcoin positions over whatever pump we can get over Monday through Wednesday afternoon and de-risk, because buy the rumor, sell the news is a real thing that happens more often than not. And then the triple witching day on Friday is probably just going to add gasoline onto that. So it's like, this is a week where I don't want to be overexposed to the market. I want to be exiting and then see how things shape up afterwards and then reevaluate the market. So that's it. That's just what I'm doing personally.
Well, thank you very much for making time to share it with us. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. William Watson. We'll see you soon.
Yep. See you guys.
See
You
you,
can
buddy.
catch him tonight on Rise Up Market Watch. That's 8 p.m. Eastern. He and Doug are going to take a look at the macro movements that make your crypto market work, chart a bunch of stuff. As far as, previews go, Doug, since I've got you here, it seems like it would be a real shame not to just set you loose. And if you've got a chart that you would like to see Doug do, then I'm sure he'd be glad to do it. I know he'll chart just about anything. So leave it in a comment. If you're in podcast land, here's another reminder that first, hello, we hope your candles are green. Second, if you want to leave a comment for Doug, for me, for Alex, for Will, or for one of the other listeners of our live show, then you got to check us out. You can get all the official links to watch us live at RUMSH, RUMSHQ.com. Shout out to Tori, who says, most of the screenshots in my screenshot folder are of this show. I would consider that taking profits on the Rise Up Morning Show. So I'm very bullish. And Doug, we got a lot of them in the comments. We've got
the charts. For the charts, I have a question for you. So I saw a comment here on. I want to go back to the pump.fun conversation and look up in the chart. So I saw, I think it was, where are we at here? DeFi Mojo. Pump.fun net negative for crypto, in my opinion, just promoting the casino aspect and straying from financial utility. So I'm curious on your thoughts in general too, Evan, on Pump.fun, but I'm in the camp of that comment too. And so there's something that's something there with the like instant creator rewards. Like I like the shift that they went there, where it's like, hey, instead of us basically a couple people taking $1 billion in profits over the last year and a half, let's give some back to the people who created tokens and out of the gate. Cool. I like that concept, and other platforms are doing that as well. But the problem is that it's almost that there's nothing else to it after. And when I say that, it's almost like because you have to deal with the chart situation that's there. So if I'm a streamer coming over from, which I've been watching them the last couple of days, I saw a streamer yesterday come over from Twitch. The individual's got like 150,000 followers, maybe 50,000 subs, like big, younger individual from Denmark, I think it was, like top, like second tier Fortnite, like significant audience, came over, created a token, because everyone's like, hey, you should create a token that's here. The thing, out of nowhere, pumped to like, I don't know, 250K. You could see how much rewards he got. He had like $10,000 in rewards immediately. And then he started playing Fortnite. That's what he does. And then the chat though. So on pump.fun live, when you're streaming, you have to stream through Pump, and that's through your token.
Sure.
The chat was like the darkest of crypto, because they're like, dude, you're not paying for the deck screener. So if you don't know, deck screener is like the glossary of crypto, meme coins. You need to have, it gives it like an identity, gives it the socials, the banner, things like that. And he's like, I'm playing the game. I did this because someone asked, and I could tell he didn't need, and he doesn't need the money. He was just doing it because like, oh, everyone's kind of doing this thing. And I could genuinely tell he was just coming over, and he was even aware of even that he had rewards that were there. And so by the end of it, I'm seeing things in the chat where it's almost like, I'm going to ruin your career. We're going to take you down. Like almost like, because you're not listening to the community. I'm like, in fairness to him, well, two things. Sure, he probably should have been more prepared about what this was. But at the same time, having never been in crypto and just the basic thing that's here, it's kind of like, well, maybe there should have been an easier path for him to understand the things he needed to do. And so now it's like the thing's nothing. And I'm sure he's got all kinds of unfortunate, people attacking him from other socials, just because they're like, hey, you started a token, you owe us, so that should go up. Why is it not going up? So the creator, so back to my initial thought is that I like the aspect of getting creators paid, like in general. That individual's fine because he's doing well at Fortnite, but there are thousands of creators out there who are trying to just create the thing and share the thing they do, and it's hard to monetize that. And this is a fast way to do it, but there's like an asterisk there that comes with a lot of other noise. So there's something there. It's just we're just still too early because the crypto component is attached to it, or the expectation of the crypto components attached to it. And that's not healthy for the ecosystem as a whole, because if I'm him, I doubt he'll come back. There's no reason to come back. Like, why? Yeah. So.
I mean, I agree with all those things. And I wouldn't come back either. And I don't think there's really, until our tokens do more and the platforms allow us to do more with them that support the stuff we already do, I don't think it's going to be more than an incentive campaign. They are spending a lot of money and a lot of attention to try and get people to stream with them. But I think once that money dries up, unless there's a sustainable streaming ecosystem that matches the reasons they stream on other platforms, they're not going to go there. I asked Doug this weekend, I said, hey, I see they're, incentivizing creators. Should we stream the show over there? And he was like, no, man, they're going to expect you to pump the token, launch the token, do, whatever. And it sounds like a classic example of the audience is just not ready for it yet.
100%. So I'll end on one positive note for the Pump for Look at chart. So in a rare case, there was a great token that came out of someone being created. It was the kindness token. It was kind.
Okay.
I believe it went to
love that.
top of my head, like 50 million market cap in like 24 hours, generated, I think, 200 grand of creator rewards. And I've only seen clips of this, so I had to go do more my research, but it seems like what they're doing is they're basically just going around and giving money to creators across all platforms, like random ones who have nothing to do with crypto. I'm like, hell yeah, that's cool. Like that's just like, hey, you're contributing, you're doing other things. TikTok, they're on YouTube, all over. Like that's cool, right? So but they achieved they got past the chart part of the equation where it's like, we're doing our thing. Like we don't care about that. It's going to do what it's going to do, but there's enough positive momentum there that it's going well. Now, when the chart goes down, I'm sure they'll get all kinds of negative attention which it will go down, because that's how everything works, up and down. But I can say it's a net positive for trying to redistribute wealth in a way back towards people who maybe don't have the opportunity to have their creations be seen. So shout out to the Kind token that's there, because
hell yeah,
so far early on it looks like it's good.
Yeah, man. Kind token. I love tokens named Kind. There have been several of them. I even had an idea for one probably 4 years back. You can find it on my TikTok profile. That is, I think, a legacy worth leaving. And shout out to DeFi Mojo, who says, if you want to see stats on the win or loss ratio of the average user and all users on pump.fun, just to get more informed perspective, head over to Dune Analytics. There are several dashboards on Dune Analytics, and they actually have the Dune Digest, one of the better crypto newsletters. I hate crypto newsletters. I hate newsletters.
Same.
I subscribe to a handful, and Dune Analytics, their digest, is one I follow. That's dune.com, D-U-N-E, like the sci-fi thriller. Check them out. Look up the pump.fun stats. Look up your favorite dashboard. Tell us when we should find next time. Doug, are you ready for me to just rapid fire a couple of these?
Yeah, and I do have one more ask though of you, and I apologize. I'm going to chart. So that if you want to, I want to, because there's a lot of questions come up here in chats, and just also too, I get a lot around meme coins in general. I would love to do an AMA on meme coins, having been someone who had created one by accident, had seen all the pros and cons of it, also to the changing dynamic of the market over the last 24 months, 18 months of what memes are, the behind the scenes of like what actually is happening, and really give you a good perspective of, should I even entertain memes? Like what are the risks that are here? And it's just crazy how things have changed. Like every 3 to 6 months, it's like a completely different market of the scam part of the equation, the rugs, but also to the semi-innovation that's there. Like there's some good things coming out still. Mostly you're going to lose, like assume you're going to lose, like that's still pretty apparent there. And I'm sure if you go to the dashboard, the individual recommended, you're going to see that basically no one makes any money except for the people who are basically controlling the game. But I have a lot of thoughts on it, having been in the trenches now for 18 months and just seeing everything evolve through alpha groups and things like that. So would love to do an AMA at some point and just kind of share my experience, because trying to help people not make the mistakes that I did in the past is what my number one kind of, that's my ethos. So
okay, if you're listening now or in the future, I want to hear you in the Circle community. I want to hear you on YouTube or TikTok. Leave us a comment and let us know when, where you'd like to hear an AMA with Doug. I would second that. I would love to see that. I would like to just sit there and be part of it. I've got a bunch of questions. And if you don't have an idea on when, just leave us a question that you'd want us to ask Doug at the memecoin AMA. That would be killer.
Sweet. Let's do it. All right. Charts. Let's go.
All right. We've got HBAR, AVAX, Floki, ZEBEC, Link, World Liberty, and a new one called OVPP. But let's just take them one at a time. HBAR is coming up first. If you have a request, let's see how many Doug can get to. I'm starting the meme counter out at 1.
Counter now?
Yeah, you got a meme counter now.
So how do you want me to approach these two? Because right now, also to remember, my kind of thought going into the rest of this month, that to put an asterisk here, this is my safe harbor statement, that anything I say on just an outlook is basically don't even entertain any of the ideas, because the next 2 weeks for me is sitting on my hands. Right, so sitting on my hands, letting things like what they'll be. So trying to put that out there.
Canon will be used against you, and here we go. Great. Yeah. All right. So no, just go for it. Tell us.
So HBAR.
We want you to do your thing.
Probably the most important level for HBAR is like 20 cents. So write that down. HBAR 20 cents, most important level. Kind of a pullback here, like the big move that was up in June to get above that 20 cents level. We are basically retesting that breakout. So I say retesting. Got a
screen share for the visual.
Oh, I need to do that. You can't see that?
Oh, it's my bad.
I was like, I got you.
You're beautiful.
Nice. Thank you.
Please continue.
All right, cool. So we are this 20 cents level that's here, this gray line I just drew, bar. We are essentially retesting from this breakout. So this pullback here, and had seen some buyers here, which is great. Ideally, I still can see this thing coming back a little further, even down here, but then something like this would be the bull case. So it's in a downtrend from that breakout, and then it's retesting this break. This is a great chart. And HBAR is actually, just fun fact, the reason I got into crypto was because of HBAR back in 2017. But there was a two generals problem, and I was into understanding what the Byzantine fault tolerance was. All that was from HBAR. So shout out HBAR. But yeah, this looks good. But I still can't. I wouldn't be shocked if it came back down to 19 cents, even 18 cents. But if you're below 20 cents for more than a week, I would say I'd be cautious, because ideally you want to pull back and then this rocket.
Beautiful. How about Floki?
Floki, oh my goodness, I mean Floki in a minute.
Haven't even seen the Floki chart.
I mean, do Floki chart.
Probably a year. Shout out to people who are holding Floki.
I was gonna say,
will ever reach $1.
Floki's hard because I know the Floki meme, and like they probably spent more on marketing than any single meme ever, right? Altogether.
Wow.
The challenge with Floki is that it's this level here. It's this lot of zeros, 112, 113 level, where after this breakdown that was in January, like it was looking good, but then January got crushed. So until this gets back above this 15 cents, I'm saying 15 cents, but add 3 zeros in front of it. To me, it's tough, because it needs to get back above that level. If this starts trading below 6 cents again, I'd be out. But this needs to see strength to get above here. It's not bad. It's just that it's in like this purgatory that's below 12 cents.
Beautiful. That's 2 to the meme counter. AVAX is next on the list.
I'm trying to find one I haven't. AVAX.
I say the meme counter. I meant the chart counter.
Yeah, chart counter. So AVAX, love AVAX as a project overall. Like AVAX is going to be fine. Was very disappointed also too of this crazy sell-off that was earlier this year. Like it was almost so painful that $25 was like the level that it kind of lost. That was here is $25. Now it's back above it. So this is great. This is good. The challenge with AVAX is it's going to have to overcome all of this. So all these sellers that were here, it's going to need significant strength to get back up through there. I'm not saying it can't do it. However, if it does have a move up, I still would expect to pull back like this. Like it needs still some time to chill here, but above 24 cents, bullish, but also still cautious overall, because it's just a tough chart. But AVAX is that big chart.
Let me see that big Godzilla candle. For people who all the way back there, for people who are unfamiliar with the Will's Silly Technical Analysis Contest, this is the Godzilla pattern created by ACC. It refers to this huge, for people in podcast land, candle at the start of the chart, way to the left, that functions effectively as Godzilla, this 300,000 foot tall monster who is just breathing fire on all the little spike pumps to come after it to the right. That's like Neo Tokyo. And it's just getting decimated. Every time there's a pump, all the bag holders are selling, and they're pushing the price down. It's a tough chart. When Doug says it's a tough chart, that's what we mean.
Another way to look at it too on that note, which is I agree 100%, is like this red box I just drew, which is where after this big sell-off that was the last bull run in the bear market that was below here. So this red area is like where it was just, consolidating, basically going sideways, finding its bottom. Then the big move up, which was above $25, that was in this kind of make this green period now, like this here green for the most part.
Okay.
Green. So now we came back below over here, like this red zone that's here. So right now we're in this new spot. So we are back in the green. Let's call it, if that's our pivot point. But at the same time, it's still super early. And it just doesn't have, see over here, this level of strength where it did bottom and move up. That was a lot of strength. Here, it's kind of like, meh. After the sell-off into the red, we're kind of just chilling here. So I don't love the chart, if I'm being honest. But AVAX as a project is a great project. And if I were to say top 5 layer ones that I would, be long in, it would be that. But it has a lot of work to do. So yeah.
Okay, beautiful. How about Link?
Stinky used to call Stinky a Chainlink Marines here. All right, let's but the Haven, shout out Haven, was a trading community I was in for years, called Stinky. Super strong. Like I'm very excited for Chainlink to get back to the Elon Musk level when he was on SNL back in 2021, so I can get out if it ever gets back to $45.
Yeah, I know you're waiting.
But
This.
this is great. This is super strong. I would love if you get a pullback here into this $20.
Yeah,
This is a sweet spot.
I would be a buyer below
21 to $18. Like that's a buy for me for Chainlink. And then from there, you're targeting up here the highs, which is 40, 45 bucks. And at that point, where I'd be pretty cautious, I got sold on Chainlink. I'm like, oh, it's gonna go to $1,000. Like, okay, I'm still waiting. 2021, I was being sold that. So yeah, not so much. But great project regardless.
Okay, and ZEBEC.
Oh my gosh. ZEBEC.
Fastest fingers in the West. We're going to get through all these requests, and if you've got one, don't hesitate to leave it below. I'm just going to burn Doug out before Market Watch tonight. I need to. He's like a dog. You got to take him to the track and let him run, because if he doesn't,
So ZEBEC was. I played this perfectly back, and I'm not going to actually. We're not pulling this up because I'm going to just be frustrated. But I was waiting for this pull like out of the gate. I remember ZEBEC this was a big TikTok, narrative. Everyone was talking about ZEBEC. There's a lot of folks on the TikTok community that was supporting this, which is great. The project overall looked great to me, and still overall pull back into these like 003, 0025, lots of strength moving up. I'm gonna clear this chart out because I need to see what these levels are really quick. Just a quick spot here. It's a great chart. Big move up here, doing this. Then we'll do this. Kind of sus at the moment, I'm being honest. So they're kind of losing this kind of meme line here. Esque. ZEBEC needs to recover pretty fast. Let's put it that way. ZEBEC needs to get back above 004. You want to be up here like soon. Otherwise, I could see this, and honestly, I could even see this down here, down to like your below the move up from 002. Could come back down below 002. If it comes back below 002, I'd be a buyer there, but this needs to recover quickly. I just don't like this breakdown that's happening right now. But above 004 bullish, below 003, meh, I'd be sus.
Okay. World Liberty Financial, WLFI.
Whew.
Man, look at that. That is a Godzilla chart in the making.
If the one that we're scanning our eyeballs, right? That's the one. This is the Sam Altman token, I believe.
No, World Liberty Financial is.
Oh, I'm thinking of Wild. Sorry.
You've got World.
Oh, sorry.
Also
this actually is interesting though. By the way, while I pulled World, wrong token.
Go for it.
This gets back. This definitely is bottomed, without a doubt. If this gets back above $2, the World token up here, maybe like that. This is something interesting. I'll put an alert here for that. Cool. World Liberty Financial now.
Also a Godzilla chart in the making.
Yeah. So I can't. So I drew some squiggles over here, and this is why I don't delete my old squiggles, is because it kind of gives you perspective. And if I were to go back to where this was after the sell-off, but these were kind of the ideas I had were like, hey, it needs to get back above this 25 cents level. Like it is the level, and still today, if I zoom out, it is still the level. Whoop, sorry. So for me, until this gets back above 25 cents, I could care less about it. That's just me personally, in general, regardless of what chart this was, tokenomics, because it just after that breakdown here, this big arrow here, like I'm gonna put this in the red zone down here until it gets back above that. Let's make this red. Oops, little thing here, red, boom. Until we get back above here. I have zero interest. Now we're like, oh, Doug, why would you want to buy something higher than where it is here? Because it may just go sideways. Now this project obviously has a lot of, there's a lot of things behind it. So I'd say from a fundamental side, if you want to buy this, you like it, sure. But from a technical side, for me, I don't know. I mean, I just could see this doing this, and then some noise this. Who knows? It can go sideways for another couple months. So until it's above 25 cents, I don't care about it. Chart looks better than it did in the past. This bounce from the lows is great. Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. Tau, BitTensor Tau is next. TAO. Now, this is the AI token that I hear more about than any other in terms of people who are actually technical builders paying attention to crypto. AI crypto tokens are kind of a fugazi, but it seems like folks are actually interested in this network.
I thought this was a layer one, but as you remember early on,
it's a network.
Okay. So, but the AI piece is a selling point. It's a main feature, or that's more than just that.
It is oriented towards supporting the proliferation of AI on chain.
Okay.
That's about as much as I've got. They've got a pretty dense technical white paper that could be crap, but I know a lot of people believe in it.
So on that note, thank you for the context there. Charlie's fine. It's kind of in this channel that's called this here. once for me, if I would be interested in this, I would be waiting for it to break this downtrend. So when I say the downtrend, it's been trending down since May. I'll make this a red line. I'll make it a little thicker for everybody here. So until this, for me, has proven it's broken out above this and can retest and then say, hey, we're ready to go. Whether that be here, whether that be, down here, doesn't matter. Just like that's kind of like your baseline. Now this looks good. This like 300 level has been holding, and I'm looking for maybe another bounce up here or move up above 350 and then to get long. But if this comes down to like your 280s and worst case down here, it's still, this chart is still strong. It's still a very healthy chart. There's nothing shady about this. I don't see any, like red flags from a tokenomics or how tokens are being distributed. I don't know anything about the tokenomics, by the way, but just looks like a healthy chart. It's just kind of waiting for it to make a move to say, hey, we're ready to go.
I don't know anything about the tokenomics either off the top of my head. That would be a question I'd ask GPT.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to do just a couple more, and then we'll hit final thoughts. We've got MORPHO next from our good friend Joe.
So MORPHO, as we were pulling up before, I just have to, once in a while I get things right. Like I forgot about this. This was on August 6th. I remember tweeting about this entry. This literally went up to the exact point. And for me, everyone knows like I'm kind of more like a vibe charting. I've looked at patterns enough. I'm kind of just like, it's gonna go there. And it literally went to the top and then it came back down. So I get to give myself some kudos for that. So expectations, never again will anything look that good. That was just pure luck. I don't even call it, but I want to make sure I get to somewhere else here. Let's do a MORPHO clean chart. Here we go. So it's oh wow,
He says
way
chart.
back here.
He's been squiggling. Is there a
I
chart?
remember when Will was talking about this initially, right? This was like a way back. That's why I got into it.
Okay.
The part is, we were telling, I wanted to say this before, I forgot, was that when you were talking about the tokenomics with this, was it 12 billion locked, I think you said? Or
12 billion, yeah, it's a new record, 12 billion TVL.
This chart seems like to me, no one cares. No one cares about projects that are actually contributing to, like, say, DeFi or in general, the infrastructure that's needed for crypto as a whole. Like this thing should be much higher. There's too much noise here, and people just care about memes, and that's also the downside of memes here. So I don't like this big move up, and then this right now we're below. I'm being honest, I could see MORPHO coming down here, which would be an area of interest for me. Let's say a buck 70 to a buck 50 would be an area of interest for me to be a buyer. But this rejection right from this after the breakdown, where's my squiggle line here? Where'd it go? Oh, here we go. I don't like this. This is pretty painful at the moment. I could see this coming down here, this, and then this there. Alternatively, if this finds the bottom in this range, I would wait for it to get above 230, and then I'd long above 230. But right now, between 220 and 180, don't care about it.
Beautiful. We have a request for Ondo.
Condo. Let's go. Oh no. Show these boxes of areas of interest. Let's go clean chart. I don't care about passes. There's a short opportunity there. Let's move this too. So Ondo was like one of the cleanest charts out of the gate early on, like a SUI chart. Like I'm trying to think of some others that were just like optimism. Some of them just is really, really strong. Kind of unfortunate how much it came back after the January kind of crypto like sell-off.
Sure.
It kind of looks like a little bit like AVAX and the breakdown below March and hasn't been able to recover above this. I would say your level, if I write down a number here, maybe a buck 20, and maybe also to what's this here? This is $7. 109, 119. It needs to get back above this level. Like here, I'll make this green here. Get above this green box, and I'd be bullish again. Like up here, above 120. Alternatively, it looks fine. I think this support level down here at like 80 cents should hold. And this obviously has a lot of people back in this project. So I'd be bearish below 75 cents, bullish above buck 20. But as of right now, it keeps getting rejected from this 109. Like every single time it comes back up, rejection. It just needs to get above here. So, okay, not bearish or bullish, just it's fine.
Shout out to Amsfar, who says, if you're in Ondo, beware of their token unlock schedule. Doug, the next token on the list is Turbo. And while he pulls it up, let me say, if you're looking for token unlocks, then you should go to each token or blockchain's official website and check out, I know they've updated the URL, tokenunlocks.io. If you search for that, whatever I think it's Tokenomist. Token OMIST is their new website, I do believe, and it'll tell you an unlock schedule, who's supposed to receive it. They have a free version and a premium version, but you can do a lot of damage with the free version. Just beware, because when a lot of tokens get unlocked, that means they are allowed to be traded. And usually, if you get a big fat stack of tokens, you want to sell some of them. And that's often what happens. It tends to cause a sell the news event. Doug, what are we looking at with Turbo?
A little bit of scamminess. This is definitely a smaller, lower end token. I don't know if this 40 million market cap or 400 million. I don't know.
And have you got some context for us on this? This is the meme token, right? Like the one of the first AI meme tokens.
Is that what it was?
I think so. Do you remember this? The AI, I believe, is named Turbo. It's like a snail. They asked AI, what should the logo be? It was like a GPT that was helping them launch a meme coin, probably, I don't know, whenever it started, 2023. At that time. It was an early, I think, pump.fun token, or maybe just pre-pump.fun meme token on Solana.
I mean, there's just a lot of big moves here. So it's kind of just, suspect to me, but this level is super key. And the reason that is because after the big move early on, like this one here, this was a support. So if I should pull up my emojis, what I should have been doing. Here's my support, my brick, building bricks here. Let's do this, brick, boom. So that was kind of the launch pad for this bigger move up. But then we came back down. After that we lost this level. So the bricks are no longer support. Now we're below support. Got back above, broke above. Then we retested after this pullback here. Now another move up. So we're kind of right now back here. So I'm not going to put a brick here yet, although it looks like possibly a brick. We're going to put a question mark because this is a super key level. So ideally it holds here. And then I could see this was a nice kind of, was demand here. Maybe it looked like a move for this. Best case scenario, it holds here and just kind of goes sideways while the broader market figured out what it wants to do. Alternatively, if it does pull back below the brick, like the 0033, you'd want to see an immediate move back up above there and then a retest then here. For me, I'm someone who likes to look for opportunities or trades like triggers. So it's like a trade what I see. If I saw this drop down and then move back up, and then find support here, this is a trigger long for me, will be right here. But as of right now, the chart looks fine. I just needs to figure out what it wants to do at this current level.
Beautiful. We've got two more.
Okay.
We've got OVPP. This is a new one, and it might not be in TradingView. This is from Rada on YouTube. Shout out. It looks like it's a streaming or liquidity token for a particular type of industry.
So out of the gate, if you were long before, let's say September 11th, I just did the first day that popped up there. Congratulations, I would take profits.
Yeah,
without a doubt, but take profits because this looks like a double top to me up here. There's obviously rejection coming on here. I could see this again, early token, probably a smaller market cap overall. I could see this coming back in here doing something like this.
Okay, but let me ask you this, Doug.
Pull back, yeah.
Is it too late to get in?
Yeah, is now a good time to buy?
It really depends on what your outlook is for this. I'm like, if it's like, hey, I'm someone new to crypto and I don't care about, I say don't care about my money, but like if it's I'm very bullish in this project, I like what they're doing, can't hurt to scale into something right now. Now, granted, this is definitely showing demand, like with this pullback here. I just don't like this kind of double topish thing.
Yeah.
I'd be more bullish again if this gets above 17 cents up here. If it can get back above here in the next, let's call it by the end of the week, if it's above 17 cents by, let's say, Friday, okay, I'd be bullish, but I could see this also pulling back down here, like 10 cents, 9 cents, and this would be a better entry down like 9 cents, if I'm being honest.
What's the market cap on this token right now? I can't quite see from the screen.
I don't know. I'm just guessing by the price here. If it has your normal kind of like billion tokens, like 15 million or 150 million, I don't know.
Yeah. I would be willing to bet the market cap is maybe smallish, and I'm guessing just based on what I saw in the sentence answer. I can't look right now because I'm doing the screen share. Bigger than it probably should be. This is a new.
Then I'd wait.
Yeah, I would wait. I would wait too.
Or do what I do, which like, hey, if you have $100 to invest, put in 20, so you feel like, hey, I have some exposure, and like you're rooting for it to come back. Like I want it to come lower, but if it doesn't, you have some exposure, and you kind of feel like I have some, a position to feel like I'm catching the move up.
Yeah, and it just looks like major exchanges. It looks like a lot of like fan hype, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like community guys, the internet of energy. What does that even mean? You know what I mean?
Website, clean, nice like flow. It's almost like I judge the website as the cleaner and the better it looks. I'm almost like more, not red flags. I'm not saying anything about the project itself, but it looks really good, right?
Yeah, it looks good. It's got a team. They clearly paid some money. I don't know. I would be nervous. The electric industry probably doesn't need its own chain. It needs Ethereum or something like that. Is what I would say.
Yeah.
Okay, I lied, Doug. We actually have two more.
Sure.
You got time for it? We got Render. Yeah. Shout out to Austin Cook for being a regular, and by regular I mean phenomenal watcher of the show. Always in the audience.
Render was so much fun last year, and why can't I find like a good chart? Why does Render not have a USDT? Here we go. Okay.
And let me, while he's pulling it up, say we've got one more token. You'll find out what it is in a second. Then I'm going to get some final thoughts from everybody. And then if you want to see more charts with Doug, you know where you got to go. Market Watch tonight in about 11 hours, live, wherever you are, whenever you listen. Doug, what you see for Render?
So Render was so great last year, right? It was like it was in October. Actually, before that, because this chart doesn't go back that far. This was the early, I think it was October.
No, this is after the whatever the contract migration.
Yeah, that's right. Render was, I think, October 2023. It was the injective protocol. It was Render. It was AGIX. It was FET. It was Solana. They were the leaders of the big move. That, to me, that was the beginning of the bull market back then. But it's kind of sucked since then. Overall, it's fine. It seems like it's starting to find a bottom down here, but until it's above $5, I can't. It looks good. I mean, if I'm being like, I could argue you could start a position here where it is, but again, for me, I'd rather wait till it's up here above $5, even though it's at 350. If you're buying Render and you're in crypto, you're like, I want Render to go to $10. Me buying at $5 is versus buying at 350, no difference to me. So I'd rather wait to prove to me that's able to get to back above the level where it lost here. If I do my my X here, that was the key level. And then it came back up, and we'll do, we didn't do any hammers yet. Here's a rejection. Here's my hammer down right here. Pretty straightforward. And then again, hammer again here. I feel like you got to get above that and say like, hey, I can build a brick up here. Until you get a brick up at $5, to me, it's in, don't care.
I think we need some brick sounds and a hammer time sound. Hammer time.
Oh. If you want, we need a brick. If you want to do that, brick, hammer, and the only other emoji I use is straightforward to make it easy is the spaceship, right? The rock lift off here.
Easy peasy.
Going up here. That's it. So we need a couple sounds.
We need lift off. We need
an X. This is a it died. It died.
I'm into the Gwump.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I do that. Yeah.
Gwump is all right for now. Just you got to imagine. Okay, and PENGU, Doug.
PENGU look great. PENGU. I can't spell.
That's okay. Don't fret. Don't sweat. We know what you
PENGU is looking great. It's kind of break. So this is, we were talking about before about a downtrend. This broke out of this downtrend. Now it's kind of retesting it. So I would just say this: if markets do get, let's say, a little shady over the next couple of weeks, and PENGU pulls back into some like 2.5 down here, 2.3 level, I wouldn't freak out. Like, to me, this is another opportunity to get long, and candidly, I wanted it to come back down here to 0.25, 0.23, like this sweet spot here. I'm not saying it's going to happen. Right now, it looks great. So if markets overall play nice the rest of September, I could see this basically, this was the bottom, like 0.28, and this, once it's back above this purple line, which is 0.35, then it's send, and then this will be in price discovery.
Beautiful.
So it's good.
Doug, thank you for all your time charting. I am going to bring you a final thought in just a second, because it's about that time we've all got to ride our dogs and ponies off into the sunset. I want to remind our friends in the audience that if they've got a chart they want to see, don't fret, don't sweat. We can still get to it, but we've got to do it in the Rise Up community. That's rumshq.com. We've got more of the Rise Up Morning Show coming tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, same time, same place. We've got After Dark coming Wednesday evening. And of course, the Rise Up Market Watch is tonight, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. Will and Doug are going to take you through the macro conditions that make your markets work, or sometimes not. So, Doug, have you got a final thought for everybody listening back home?
I'll just, for those who joined late, I would say the next 2 weeks, don't do anything. Like, I say don't do anything. Don't entertain new positions unless you see a crazy sell-off and you have areas of interest where you're looking to scale in, but don't get distracted by volatility that comes on Wednesday or anything that comes even on Friday. We talk about the triple witching, like things like that. Just September has historically been a very, very, not a great month from a performance standpoint, and also very difficult to gauge where things go. Wait till October. If we do have a couple, more months left of this, the up only, wait till then. There'll be an entry. But for right now, it's just in this transitional period, and I'd rather just watch and pay attention and preserve your capital and move on. Alternatively, if you also are in positions and you're like, hey, things are great, I'm looking good, it can't hurt to take some profits. That's all.
Beautiful. Doug, thank you. Everybody, thank you for the questions. For folks wondering where Alex is, he would appreciate your kind comments, your thoughts, your prayers, your good juju, because he is finally moving houses.
I will absolutely die on this hill.
And he will be back as he is able to. He wanted you to know that he missed you, but he appreciates you for being a good fan, good friend, good helper, all that stuff. Everybody, you are the best part of what we do. We always say it because it's true. So thank you, my friends. Until next time, everybody, stay safe, be well, my friends. Rise up.